What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter, Bob Arum, who promotes undefeated three-division world champion, who was former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the WBO welterweight world champion, widely considered by many to be top #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence Bud Crawford. Well, Bob Arum, he wasn't able to secure Terence Crawford to face the fight he's been seeking out for the better part of 6 years against 8-division world champion, legendary, iconic Filipino superstar boxer Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao, who currently is the WBA super champion, as it's being reported that he'll be reinstated after he defeated former unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith One-Time Thurman in July of 2019. He's heading into a showdown with undefeated unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer, who is currently viewed as top 3 pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, and Earl the True Spence Jr., who happens to make up of the other half of the biggest fight in the sport of boxing between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. With that said, Bob Arum, we know in the past, Bob Arum has stated and made it clear that he did not want to lose a return on his investment when it came to Terence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao fight. He stated that he blocked the fight from happening because he stated that for 2 different reasons. Manny Pacquiao's purse. When you're dealing with Manny Pacquiao and a high-profile fighter such as Manny Pacquiao, he demands a high purse. And on top of that, Bob Arum, he stated that, he didn't want to see Manny Pacquiao possibly get hurt at the advanced age and advanced stage of his career. He says he knew how the fight will play out between Terence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao, and he didn't want to see that happen. That was 3 years ago. Today's time, it was reported that Bob Arum was seeking to negotiate a deal for Terence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao for a showdown in November of 2020, but that fell through, as Bob Arum says the investment groups overseas weren't willing to put up the money and lose a return on investment, not knowing if fans would be allowed to attend and to bring in the fans' revenue. So he ended up fighting former IBF welterweight world champion British superstar boxer Kell Brook. And then it was reported that he could possibly face Manny Pacquiao June 5th of this year, 2021. That would be last Saturday. And that fell through, as Bob Arum says the investment group in Abu Dhabi didn't come through. They didn't see a return on their investment being possible. Initially, he stated that was $50 million offer on the table. Manny Pacquiao would get $40 million. Terence Crawford would get 10. Then he said the investment group didn't come through. They didn't see a return for the investment being huge. Now Bob Arum is stating that he could easily make the fight for Terence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao to come to fruition, but he don't see the value in making this fight. Once again, he doubles down and lets it be known he just simply does not see the value in making a Terence Crawford Manny Pacquiao fight. He don't believe he could get a return on his investment. Once again, he says that he's not in the business of losing money. He takes his hat off to PBC, Premier Boxing Champion, founder and advisor Al Heyman, for making an Errol Spence Manny Pacquiao fight. But he is not in the business of losing money. Listen to what Bob Arum had to say.
I mean, a lot of, this is a business. And
he said, this is a business.
I have gotten the Terence fight with Manny Pacquiao, of course. But again,
You heard what he said. Could I have made the fight with Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford? Of course.
I'm not in business to lose millions of dollars.
Uh-oh. He said, but I'm not in business to lose millions of dollars. Let's listen to what he had to say from the beginning, people.
I mean, a lot of, this is a business. And could I have gotten the Terence fight with Manny Pacquiao? Of course. But again, I'm not in business to lose millions of dollars. And when we estimated what it would do, our figures showed that it would be a substantial loss. Now,
Our figures show that it would be a substantial loss. And then he goes on to say he tips his hat to Al Heyman for making the fight because their numbers show otherwise. So he lets it be known that he don't believe that he can see a return on his investment when it comes to Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford. Essentially doesn't view Terence Crawford as a big draw, and the purse that you have to guarantee for a high profile fighter and a legend like Manny Pacquiao is too substantial for them, and they can't get and guarantee that they'll receive a return on the investment. He did state that we know that Terence Crawford is set to be a free agent in October. He says that he doesn't want to make any mention of any names for Terence Crawford. He's going to meet with Terence Crawford and his team on Friday, tomorrow, and he's expecting to get a deal done for Terence Crawford to be back in the ring in October. He says then we'll take it and move on from there and see what happens. As we know, Terence Crawford is a free agent. He stated that now undefeated, undisputed junior welterweight world champion British superstar boxer Josh Taylor, he says, is pursuing and keep informing them that he wants to fight Terence Crawford, right? And, you know, there's some other names on the table. He ruled out Josito Lopez. He said that's not an option. He says that, you know, they're looking to stage a fight for Terence Crawford in October, and that essentially could be the last fight for Terence Crawford on Top Rank. As we stated, as I've been stating, I told you, reports have told me that Terence Crawford is out the door when it comes to Top Rank. He's looking to, you know, go elsewhere. He doesn't like how he's been promoted. He believes that he can be, you know, land these big fights. We know Terence Crawford himself stated that if he wasn't signed with Top Rank, Bob Arum, he could make these big, huge fights. We just heard yesterday Keith Thurman, who just was a former world champion, only loss on his resume is to Manny Pacquiao. Keith Thurman stated that if Terence Crawford wasn't with Top Rank and Bob Arum, he believes that they can negotiate a fight for themselves, and Terence Crawford can negotiate fights for bigger fights. So once again, we heard that Bob Arum double down once again and let it be known that they just don't see the value in making this fight. Terence Crawford has been pursuing this fight for the better part of 6 years. It's been made mention since 2015, 2014 was the first time it was talked about. Then that was before he fought, that being Pacquiao fought Floyd Mayweather. He was still signed to Top Rank and Bob Arum. Then every year there moving forward, it was being mentioned that it's a possibility Terence Crawford could fight Manny Pacquiao. And Bob Arum consistently lets us know that there is no value for Top Rank to make this fight happen. And he don't want to see Terence Crawford possibly, you know, hurt Manny Pacquiao because of this advanced age, okay? So it's very abundantly clear that Terence Crawford is seeking this fight with Manny Pacquiao. He's been seeking this fight. This is his number one objective. He makes that clear every interview when you ask him who does he want to fight next. He says his number one objective is to face off against Manny Pacquiao. He sat down did a special with Relentless with Andre Ward, former pound-for-pound king, retired Hall of Famer, retired undefeated. And Andre Ward asked him, what is your plan should you get past this? At the time was his fight with Kell Brook. He says that his number one option and his number one objective is to secure a legacy, high-profile fight, high-revenue fight between himself and Manny Pacquiao. He said that's the fight that he wants. Well, guess what? The biggest fight in the sport of boxing has been viewed as Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. Terence Crawford, we know, stated that he's no longer interested in negotiating or talking about a possibility of fighting Errol Spence, because Errol Spence stated that 60-40 in his favor, the percentage, because he's doing the bigger numbers, he's doing the bigger high-profile fights, he's doing the bigger pay-per-view numbers, and he believes that he's doing the heavy lifting. He deserves the bigger share of the pie. Terence Crawford, he stated, well, it's 60-40 in his favor because of his accomplishments. Then he said 50-50 at the very least. Now, Terence Crawford, he stated that even offered 50-50, he thinks that fight is in his rearview mirror. It's behind him. Well, the fight he's been pursuing longer than the Errol Spence fight with Manny Pacquiao has eluded him. And in a short period of time, Errol Spence has landed the Manny Pacquiao fight. Errol Spence, in the interview he did with Fred on Barbershop Conversations, he uttered the same sentiments. He said if Bob Arum was willing to put up the money, Manny Pacquiao would have made the fight with Terence Crawford. Bob Arum, he just admitted as well, he said we had the first dibs, we had the first option to make the fight with Manny Pacquiao, and we did not make it happen because we do not see a return on our investment in that fight. We don't see the value in that fight. He says we had the number one option. We had the first option to fight Manny Pacquiao. We was in negotiations, but we were banking on investment groups outside of the country, so we didn't have to dig in our pockets and run the risk of losing money. Abu Dhabi Investment Group, they chose that and pulled out because they chose this. They looked at the situation, didn't see a return on their investment when they crunched the numbers, so they pulled out. And he says that they just let the fight go by the wayside. So there you have it. Manny Pacquiao was willing to fight Terence Crawford, as he was willing to fight Errol Spence, and Errol Spence stated if the money was there for Manny Pacquiao, he would have fought Terence Crawford, but they chose not to want to pay Manny Pacquiao or Terence Crawford, so he didn't secure the fight. And as you can see with Bob Arum, he stated and he reiterated what Errol Spence stated, and he reiterated once again that he prevented the fight from coming to fruition once again. So I'm hard-pressed to see Terence Crawford actually re-sign with Top Rank and Bob Arum come November, because you got to look at it from the standpoint of Terence Crawford is 33 years of age. He will be 34 years of age if it plays out the way Bob Arum says he's going to fight in October. He will be 34 years of age. He turns 34 September 28th. So by October, he'll be 34 years of age by the time he steps in the ring and is yet to secure that high legacy profile fight. But that's all I got for y'all. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Oh, it is your boy Jada Kiss. Make sure you check out Blue Blood Sports TV. It's going down.